Every civilization that came before us tried to answer the same question. How do we understand the world we are living inside? Some built instruments, some built temples. Some studied the sky, and others studied the human heart. What's fascinating is that all of those paths were trying to read the same thing, a living system of patterns that moves through everything. Today, we measure those patterns with satellites, monitors, and electromagnetic charts. We give them numbers, graphs, and technical names. But long before the technology existed, people already knew something important. The Earth is not silent. It has rhythm. It has cycles. And in subtle ways that most of us are only beginning to notice, it speaks. The strange thing about this moment in history is that two languages are starting to overlap again: the language of measurement and the language of knowing. Data is beginning to reveal what intuition always sensed. The world around us is not random. It is patterned, responsive, and deeply alive. Most of us were taught to see the world through one lens, the mechanical one. Numbers, systems, measurements, inputs and outputs. It's a powerful way to understand reality, but it's only half of the picture. Because beneath the architecture of technology, there is another architecture entirely. One that isn't built from circuits or code, but from rhythm, resonance, and living fields. For a long time, those two worlds seemed completely separate. Science measured the signal. Mystics felt it. But something interesting is happening now. The instruments are beginning to detect patterns that echo what ancient traditions tried to describe in symbolic language. Cycles in the Earth's field, fluctuations in planetary resonance, moments where the system itself seems to pulse or reorganize. When people see those charts, they often assume they are just looking at technical data. But if you step back for a moment, another possibility appears. What if those instruments are not just measuring electricity in the atmosphere? What if they are listening to the nervous system of a living planet? And if that's true, then the real question becomes something far more personal. If the Earth has a signal, what does it mean that our bodies seem to feel it? What makes this even more intriguing is that the signal does not just stay in the sky. It moves through the environment, and eventually through us. The human body is not as separate from the planet as we often imagine. Our nervous system runs on electrical impulses. Our brains generate measurable frequencies. Our hearts create electromagnetic fields that extend beyond the body. In other words, we are not just observers of the system. We are participants inside it. When the planetary field shifts, even subtly, it makes sense that sensitive systems would register the change. Some people experience that as fatigue. Others notice emotional waves, unusual dreams, or moments where their perception sharpens and slows down at the same time. These experiences are often dismissed as stress or coincidence. But another possibility exists. The human system may simply be more responsive to environmental frequency changes than we have fully acknowledged. Like a crystal placed inside an electrical circuit, the body can amplify, filter, and translate the signal moving through it. Which means that what looks like chaos on the surface might actually be something else entirely. a system adjusting itself to a stronger current. Throughout history, moments of transformation have rarely looked graceful while they were happening. They looked like collapse, like confusion, like the old structures of understanding no longer holding together. But sometimes what appears to be breakdown is actually the moment before something reorganizes itself at a higher level of coherence. The phoenix is one of the oldest symbols for that process. Not destruction, but renewal through fire. Knowledge does not simply disappear. It changes form. It waits in the margins of culture, in myths, in symbols, in fragments of memory passed quietly from one generation to the next. And when the conditions are right, it rises again. What we are seeing now may be one of those moments. Ancient intuitions about the Earth as a living system are reappearing, not through mythology this time, but through instrumentation, monitoring stations, and global networks measuring the planet's electromagnetic environment. The language is different. The instruments are new, but the underlying insight is strangely familiar. We are not standing outside a dead planet. We are living inside a dynamic, responsive system that is constantly communicating with itself and with us. And every so often, when the signal becomes strong enough, something in human awareness begins to remember. Time is usually treated as something steady, a straight line moving forward at a constant pace, predictable, measurable, controlled. But when you look closely at complex systems, that assumption begins to break down. Biological systems don't move in straight lines. Planetary systems don't move in straight lines. They move in pulses, waves, cycles of compression and release. Moments where change accelerates, and moments where everything seems to hold its breath. Many people sense that feeling now, as if the pace of events in the world has become uneven. Some days feel strangely dense, heavy with information and emotion. Other days seem to pass almost too quickly, like something is slipping between the cracks of our attention. We usually blame technology, the news cycle, or stress. But another possibility exists. When large systems reorganize, time can feel different from inside the experience. The hourglass flips, the sand begins to move again, and what once felt stable starts rearranging itself into a completely new pattern. In the end, the most important question is not whether the signal exists. It's what we choose to do with the awareness of it. For centuries, humanity looked outward through telescopes, searching the universe for signs of intelligence beyond our planet. But the deeper mystery may be closer than we realized. What if the dialogue has always been happening here, between the Earth, the atmosphere, and the living systems that inhabit it? The same frequencies that move through the planet also move through the body. The same electrical language that travels across the sky is present in the firing of neurons and the rhythm of the heart, which suggests something both simple and profound. We are not just watching the signal, we are part of it. And as our instruments become more sensitive and our awareness becomes more attentive, the boundary between observer and participant begins to dissolve. The planet pulses. The atmosphere carries the message. And slowly, almost quietly, humanity is learning how to listen again. The signal continues. If this transmission resonated, don't forget to like and subscribe here and continue the journey with the next video. You can also follow the work on Substack at tendingtheinbetween.substack.com.